Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to Southern Gal Paranormal Mysteries and Oddities, where we discuss anything and everything weird, wild, and wacky, such as ghosts, UFOs, aliens, music mysteries, entertainment mysteries, and anything else I can find that piques my interest. Because I do this is actually my second channel. It's a fairly new channel. This is only the second video I've done for this channel. My primary channel is Southern Gal True Crime, which obviously I describe true crime. So if you are interested in true crime, please do go check it out. I do have a link to it on the homepage of this channel, and I will put a link to it in the description box of this video. So today we will be discussing cursed objects. Cursed objects have always fascinated me. The paranormal and ghosts have always fascinated me. Not going to say that I'm a believer or not, but I have seen some paranormal ghost videos that I've watched that I have not been able to find a rational explanation for. I have visited numerous haunted locations. My favorite place I've ever been to is the Crescent Hotel, which is in Eureka Springs, Arkansas, being as I live in Arkansas. I did get to spend the night there. I believe it was my 40th birthday present. Got to spend a night there. We did the ghost tour. And then the next night, we spent the night at the Basin Hotel, which is also in Eureka Springs, in Arkansas. Spent the night there, did the ghost tour there. Out of the two, the Crescent was definitely the best. It also, if you've never heard of the Crescent Hotel, it does have a very rich history aside from the paranormal hauntings. It was once sort of a not an asylum, but a makeshift hospital where this crazy doctor did some weird experiments. So definitely go look it up if you get a chance. And probably on this channel, I will eventually do a video about the Crescent and give the whole history. But anyway, as I said, today we are going to be taking a look at cursed objects, and in particular, we are going to be taking a look at Robert the Doll. If you've never heard of Robert the Doll, of course, I'll be bringing you all the information. I first heard about Robert the Doll when I was watching. There was a Ozzy and Jack Osbourne used to do a show, Ozzy and Jack's World Detour, and one of the places they stopped is the place where Robert the Doll is currently housed. But that's in the information I'm going to give you, so I'll wait until we get to that part to tell you about that. So we will get started. Let me get full screen here so I can see what I'm reading. So Robert the Doll. So Robert the Doll is an allegedly haunted doll. He is currently a resident at the East Martello Museum in Key West, Florida. He was once owned by a painter, author, and Key West resident, Robert Eugene Otto. So Robert the Doll is named after Robert the person. And you can see there's a picture of Robert the Doll. Very creepy looking, especially the face. Something about the face gets me. I don't like it, even though I do like creepy stuff. So Robert was originally, as I said, belonged to Robert Eugene Otto. He was an artist, described as eccentric. He belonged to a prominent Key West family. Robert the Doll was reportedly manufactured by the Steiff Company of Germany, and Robert, the person Robert Otto, his grandfather actually bought the doll for him while his grandfather was on a trip to Germany, and he gave the doll to young Otto as a birthday gift. And the doll's sailor suit was likely an outfit that Otto wore as a child. Now, if you look at this picture On the left there, you see young Robert Eugene Otto, and he is wearing a sailor suit. So I'm assuming that this is the suit that is now on Robert the Doll and has been for 100+ years. Um, oh, sorry, had to adjust here. When you get my age, you get a little bit older. When you sit in a certain position, one too long, something starts to hurt. But anyway, but so I'm assuming, like I said, I'm assuming this is the sailor suit that is currently on Robert the Doll, which is creepy to me. So I'm thinking maybe the because of course Robert Eugene Otto, the person, has passed away. Now I don't know if it's a sailor uniform. I'm sure it was put on Robert the Doll before Robert the human passed away, but who knows? Maybe since the sailor suit belonged to well, we'll just call him Eugene Otto to try to keep it. We'll get confused between Robert the person and Robert the Doll. Could be maybe the soul or the spirit of Eugene Otto transformed into Robert the Doll to cause all these strange happenings that seem to occur around Robert the Doll. All right, moving on. So the doll, Robert the Doll, remained stored in the Otto family home in Key West, Florida, while Otto studied art in New York and Paris. In 1930, Robert married Annette Parker in Paris. After their marriage, they returned to the Otto family home in Key West. They lived there until Otto died in 1974. His wife, Annette, passed away 2 years later. And after their deaths, their home, the Eaton Street home, which still contained Robert the Doll, was sold to Myrtle Reuter. Now, she owned it for 20 years until the property was sold to the current owners, who turned it into a guest house. Now, I don't know if when the house was sold to Miss Reuter, if Robert was still in the house, and how long she kept Robert the Doll in the house before she decided to get rid of him. But if all these strange goings on that I will tell you about were going on, I'm sure she did not hesitate to get him out of the house. So in 1994, Robert the Doll was donated to the East Martello Museum in Key West, Florida, where it became, of course, a popular tourist attraction. And it is annually moved to the old post office and custom house in October. So I'm assuming they do that for Halloween. And because Robert the Cursed Doll would make an excellent Halloween display. So I'm sure that, and I would love if I ever make it. I've been to Florida a couple of times. I've never been to Key West, but if I ever make it down to Key West, I would love to visit this East Martello Museum and take a look at Robert the Doll in person and the other attractions that they have there. So, what does Robert the Doll do? So, according to legend, Robert has supernatural abilities that allow him to move, change his facial features or his facial expressions, and make giggling sounds, which that would be terrifying to me. I have a thing about dolls anyway. I don't like dolls; they creep me out. Some versions of Robert's legends claim that a young girl of Bahamian descent gave Otto to the doll as a gift or as some kind of retaliation for a wrongdoing. So maybe kind of like a voodoo doll kind of thing. I don't know. Other stories claim that the doll moved voodoo figurines around the room, and that he was aware of what went on around him. So, in other words, they claim that he was sentient. He knew, or whatever was possessing him or inside of him knew what was going on. Other legends claim that the doll that Robert vanished after Otto's house changed ownership a number of times after his death. Now, like I said, maybe when Miss Reuter bought the home, Robert freaked her out a little bit, so she got rid of him. Because he says he possibly mysteriously vanished. Or that young Otto, the person, young Otto, triggered the doll's supernatural powers by blaming his childhood mishaps on the doll. So maybe when he got in trouble, he said, I didn't do it. The doll did it, which is a common ploy for children. Anybody who has children knows how what little devils children can be. Don't get me wrong, I love children. So according to more local folklore, the doll, Robert has caused car accidents, broken bones, job loss, divorce, and a plethora of other misfortunes. And museum visitors supposedly experience post-visit misfortunes for failing to respect Robert. So if you ever meet Robert in person, don't disrespect him, or who knows what will happen to you. All right, so Robert has had some travels in his life. In 2008, in Clearwater, Florida, at TAPSCon, which is hosted by the Atlantic Paranormal Society. So if you don't know TAPS, if you've ever watched the show Ghost Hunters, that's TAPS. Members of TAPS do that show, which is one of my favorite. I watch a lot of ghost hunting shows, just mainly for the entertainment value. Although I do also watch it for, I do enjoy of whatever place that they're investigating. I love to hear the history of the places that they're investigating. Because a lot of them have a lot of weird stuff that goes on before the supposed hauntings start. So anyway, Robert in May of 2008 was brought to this TAPSCon in Clearwater, Florida. And this was the first time in Robert's 104 years of existence that he had left Key West, Florida. Now, this was in 2008. So it's 2023. So Robert at this time would be about 117, 120 years old. Very old. Also, in October 2015, Robert was taken to Las Vegas for a filming of the television program Haunted Museum. If you ever watched another Ghost Adventures, which is hosted by Zach Bagans, I also watched that one too. That one's purely for entertainment value, because let's just say Ghost Adventures is very over the top. In every episode, somebody gets possessed. There's an exorcism that takes place. They bring in mediums. It's just like I said, it's entertaining. So that's why I watch it. Plus, sometimes I have nothing else better to watch, so I'll give it a look. So the first episode originally aired on in April of 2016 as the first episode of Deadly Possessions, and then it re-aired in August of 2017 as the first episode of Ghost Adventures Artifacts. Now, I did watch both of these, the Deadly Possessions incarnation of the show and Ghost Adventures Artifacts. From what I remember, neither one of them lasted too long. But Ghost Adventures, the original Ghost Adventures, is still running. I believe it's on Discovery Channel now. It used to be on Travel Channel. Then they put it on Discovery Plus, and now they've moved it back to Discovery Channel. All right, so there have, of course, been a horror film franchise that is loosely based on the Legend of Robert. The first film, which was called Robert, was released in 2015. They did 4 sequels. The Curse of Robert the Doll came out in 2016. The Toy Maker came out in 2017. The Revenge of Robert the Doll came out in 2018, and Robert Reborn came out in 2019. So I'm gonna have to look these up if they're on any of the streaming services that I have. I'm gonna have to look them up and watch them because I'm always looking for new horror movies to watch because I've about ran out of new ones to watch because I watch horror movies all the time. So like I said, I'm always looking for some. So if any of you have any suggestions of any, especially some of more of the obscure horror movies, even I love like even what they call the B movies. Please let me know in the comments, and if there's any there that I haven't seen, I'll give them a watch. So this, like I was saying earlier, the doll and a replica doll that is sold at the gift shop at the Martello Museum appeared in the second season of Ozzie and Jack's World Detour. This is where I first heard of Robert the Doll. Like I said, they were, I don't think they were actually in this episode, if I remember correctly, they weren't actually, this wasn't the primary location that they were going to visit, but they was like kind of like a side stop. So they went in, they go in, they look at the real Robert the Doll. When they leave, Jack buys one of the small replicas of Robert the Doll. And for the rest of the season, so Ozzie and Jack in the show travel around in this little RV. So Robert is always in the RV, and Ozzie absolutely hated Robert the Doll. I don't know why he hated it, but you know, it's Ozzie, so who knows. I love Ozzie, by the way. I've always been into his music since I was old enough to start listening to music, which was very young. So I've always loved him as a music entertainer. And then, of course, I watched the Osbournes reality show, which came out in the 90s. Then of course Ozzie and Jack's World Detour. But for some reason, anyway, Ozzie hated this replica doll of Robert. So he spent most of this season after Jack bought the doll trying to get rid of Robert. At one point, he buried it in the sand at a beach, and then in one episode he tried to blow it up. But both times, Robert miraculously reappeared. So maybe even the replicas are cursed. And also another show that I watched regarding Ozzie is The Osbournes Want to Believe. I can't remember how many seasons they did. I've watched every episode of every season numerous times. Very entertaining. On that show, they take a look at Jack presents Ozzie and Sharon with different video clips of ghosts, UFOs and aliens and such, and try to convince them or get them to say if they believe it's real or not. In other words, he's trying to make believers out of them, hence the name. And Ozzie is very, very intelligent. He's a big history buff. He loves anything, you know, regarding history. He can just rattle off historical events and dates just like that. In the last few years, unfortunately, his health has declined. Back when the C word was going around, I don't know if YouTube likes to use the word COVID, but he did contract it. I believe here not too long ago he was diagnosed with Parkinson's disease. So unfortunately his health has declined. So he won't be touring anymore, as far as I know, which is sad. But his health comes first, of course. But I was lucky enough to get to see Ozzy in concert back in the 90s, I believe. It was the No More Tears tour. Got to go to that. He came here to Little Rock. Fantastic show, of course. It's Ozzy. You can't go wrong with Ozzy. But anyway, I digress. But it's just sad to see how much his health has declined. But as of right now, he's still with us. Right, so a little bit, some more facts about Robert the Doll. Of course, he was once a child's plaything, is now believed to be haunted, is often held responsible for tragedies that befall those who disrespect him. So once again, don't disrespect Robert. The Streif Company, which is the German company who is believed to have created Robert, believes that, or they think that he started his life, as they call it, as a part of a set of dolls that were fabricated for a window display that consisted of Robert, clowns, and jesters. Once again, we're back to clowns. I hate clowns. They just always creep me in. I can't watch. The only talking about going back to watching horror movies, the only movie that I could ever stand to watch that had anything to do with clowns was It. I'm talking about the original It, which I believe it was a TV movie. It wasn't a feature film movie. Of course, Tim Curry played Pennywise the clown. And it's based on a Stephen King book. Stephen King, along with Anne Rice, my two favorite authors. So of course I read the book, and I have watched the movie or miniseries many times. Like I said, that's the only movie that I can watch that has anything to do with clowns. I've tried to watch the remake that they did of It, couldn't do it because the incarnation of Pennywise that they have in that movie is just terrifying to me. So I can't. I turned it off after about 5 minutes, and then you have the red balloons. So now I have an affinity to red balloons. Anyway, enough. Once again, enough about my phobias. So we went over Robert's sailor suit is not original to the doll, and it may have first belonged to Robert Otto, one of his former owners. And of course, he has been a resident of the East Martello Museum in Key West since 1994. So that's been a while ago. Sometimes, I guess, as you get older, to me, 1994 doesn't seem like it was that long ago, but unfortunately, it has been that long ago. But anyway, we just have to accept the fact that we all get older. So once I was taking a look into Robert the Doll, I got to thinking about there's got to be other cursed dolls out there. And once again, going back to my phobias, I hate dolls. I hate dolls. Now, let me qualify that by saying I like creepy dolls, such as the one pictured here in the slide. I find them I love them. The kind of dolls I don't like are what they call the normal dolls, like the porcelain dolls, the very, very pretty face and the curly hair and the nice dresses. Those are the dolls that creep me out. Don't ask me why. They just do. So we're going to take a look at a few more cursed dolls that I came across. So just to preface it, even before Chucky and Annabelle hit the big screen, many people professed a deep-seated mistrust, so I'm not the only one, of dolls. These misgivings are not without cause, so I may have a legitimate reason not to like dolls. According to the Smithsonian Magazine, when dolls became more lifelike, and I think that's what gets me is that they are lifelike. Now the creepy dolls is not so much lifelike, but like I said, the normal dolls, yes. So when the dolls became more lifelike in the 19th century, they wandered into the uncanny valley, which they say is a gray area in which something that looks almost human evokes a negative response. That's what it is. It evokes a negative response in me. This shudder and the pucker effect. Dolls with their vacant stares, and yes, is the eyes. I can't stand the eyes. And human-esque physique certainly fit that bill. Beyond that, they say humans have managed to attach a myriad of cultural rituals and folklore to dolls. And I was going to bring up, we were talking about the show Ghost Adventures earlier. There is an episode they did where they went to, I believe it's called the Island of Dead Dolls, and it is in, I believe, Mexico City. Very, very creepy, very strange place. So it's just this little island, and I believe the backstory to it supposedly is a little girl was playing near the beach area, and she fell in the water. She drowned, and then after this happened, all of a sudden, all these creepy dolls started appearing, hanging anywhere you can hang them in trees. There's a couple of buildings there. There's one little hut that is just full of these creepy dolls. They're hung from trees. They're hung from line that people have strung. Very, very interesting though. So, if you get a chance, look it up, and you can find out more of the history about it. So, with that in mind, we're going to take a look at 6 dolls who have somehow gone above and beyond the creep factor and garnered international fame for being haunted. So, of course, the first one we're going to come to is Annabelle. Now, you see in the picture, this does not look like the Annabelle that is portrayed in the movies, and that is because the original Annabelle was actually a Raggedy Ann doll. Now, I do love Raggedy Ann dolls. When I was a child, I had an aunt or a great aunt or some family member that handmade a set, Raggedy Ann and Raggedy Andy, handmade. And she would give them to me for Christmas or birthday, and I absolutely love those dolls. I carried them with me everywhere. They stayed on my bed, in my bedroom. And I do still have them safely packed away in stores. So hopefully I haven't taken them out in a while. So hopefully they're still in good condition. But anyway, back to Annabelle. So the story of Annabelle became infamous with the release of The Conjuring and the Annabelle films. As I said, the real Annabelle is a Raggedy Ann doll that while she looks much less sinister in appearance, she made quite a name for herself in the 1970s. Annabelle was given to a nursing student named Donna by her mother. Now, Donna and her roommate Angie would often return home to discover that Annabelle had changed positions and or moved to a different room. Yes, that would freak me out. They would also find handwritten notes that were scrawled on parchment paper asking for help. In their book, paranormal investigators Ed and Lorraine Warren, so anybody who's interested in paranormal know who Ed and Lorraine Warren are. So Ed and Lorraine Warren indicated that the behavior went on for nearly a year before they became involved, and they ultimately took Annabelle into their care. So they keep her. They have the Warrens Occult Museum, so they keep Annabelle in this case that you see here, and you can't read the sign here, but the case basically says, "Do not open, do not touch Annabelle. If you do, bad things will happen to you." So apparently in 2020, rumors began to circulate that Annabelle had escaped her case. But that panic was squelched eventually when the Warren's son posted a picture of Annabelle, who was safely still in her case. So poor little Annabelle is stuck in a case. But if she's running around wreaking havoc, and she needs to be locked in a case, I guess. All right, next we have Okiku. So Okiku was purchased by a young man sometime around 1918 in Japan. He bought it as a gift for his younger sister. But tragically, after a year, the little girl passed away from a severe case of the flu. So after she passed away, the family created a shrine in her memory, and they placed Okiko in the display. Now, sometime later, they noticed that the doll's hair, which had originally been cut in a short bob type haircut, the hair had grown down past her shoulders. So when the family moved in 1938, they entrusted the doll to the care of the Meninji Temple in Hokkaido, where caretakers continued to maintain Okiku and her ever-growing hair. So, could be maybe when the little girl who owned the doll passed away, maybe her spirit entered Okiku the doll, causing her hair to grow. As far as I found, as the information says, she didn't have any other sinister things that she does, except for the fact that her hair grows. So go figure. All right, next we have Lily. So Lily resides at Zach Bagans Haunted Museum, which is in Las Vegas. And if I ever make it back out to Las Vegas, I've been there a few times, 2 or 3 times. I am going to try to find the Haunted Museum and go through it just for S and giggles. My niece who lives in California, she and her fiance, actually within the last year or so, they did go through the museum, and they said it was very very interesting. They enjoyed it quite a bit. So anyway, Lily was made during the 1800s in Germany, and she features real human hair. Totally creepy. To me, that's the first mistake, to put real human hair on a doll. I'm sure it happens all the time, though. According to the museum's Facebook post, she was discovered by an antiques dealer who took her home. But after this dealer took her home, she began having recurring nightmares about a little girl who had a very bad accident. So once again, we'll have the theory that after this little girl's very bad accident, maybe her spirit transformed into the doll, or transferred into the doll. She was subsequently put up for sale at the antique shop. On one occasion, a customer's little girl spoke to the doll for 3 hours, interacting with her like a fellow child. Now, she informed the proprietor that Lily was a little girl that had been subjected to extreme violence. So, don't know what kind of extreme violence. So when first encountering the doll, Zach Bagans reported that he felt an immense energy radiating from the figurine, which of course he's going to say that. Like I said, if you've ever watched Ghost Adventures, there's always a possession or a bad energy or something floating around. So next we have Ruby, and this is the kind of doll that creeps me out, that I don't like. Like I said, the prettier dolls. So Ruby is a porcelain doll with a penchant for moving around from place to place. She currently resides with the Traveling Museum of the Paranormal and the Occult. I would like to visit. If it ever travels through here, I might give it a visit. And of course, she comes from mysterious origins. Her previous owner said that she had originally belonged to a little girl in the family who died while holding the doll. So you know more, I'm going to go with this. Following that tragedy, she was passed down through the generations until coming to her current residence at this traveling museum. Visitors often report experiencing an overwhelming feeling of sorrow radiating from Ruby. So yes, once again, we'll go with the theory that since this little girl who passed away was holding the doll at the time she passed away, her spirit transferred into the doll. That's the standard story or standard explanation for stories like this. But if you have any other theories, please let me know in the comments. Please let me know in the comments about any of these dolls and objects we're discussing. I'd love to hear what your thoughts are. Just always, all I ask is be respectful to each other and everybody involved in these stories. We'll keep it nice. We'll play nice here. This is a looser channel than a little bit looser format than my true crime channel. It is to have a little bit of fun, but no matter what, always be nice and respectful to each other and everything will be fine. I won't have to kick anybody out because I don't like to do that. So far on any of my channels, which I only have one more, I've never had to block anybody, and I hope it stays that way. So this is very creepy to me. Once again, very creepy. And if you look, before I get into it, if you look at this picture, this is the current caretaker of this doll, he kind of looks like a poor man or a vagrant's Luke Perry. I don't know if it's the angle of the picture, but he reminds me of Luke Perry. The late Luke Perry, unfortunately. So this is Letta the doll, which is short for Letta Me Out. Thought that was kind of a ingenious. She is a 200, or I believe it's a he, is a 200-year-old wooden doll with human hair. Once again with the human hair. Why do you put human hair on dolls? I don't understand. Anyway, he was discovered beneath a house in Wagga Wagga, Australia, by his current caretaker, Kerry Walton. Walton told the Warwick Daily News, I reckon he walks in the nighttime. So apparently, Letta Me Out gets around and walks around at night. And we came in here as a new house, and I've never heard so many strange things in my life. Well, of course, that's another staple of hauntings, is hearing strange noises in the night. He's found scuff marks on the floor of his home, as well as objects mysteriously moved around. Walton has brought Letta with him to multiple television interviews, and he has started an Instagram page dedicated to the doll. So now even haunted dolls are getting their own Instagram pages. I might have to check that out. I do have Instagram, which I used to use. I haven't done it in a while because my hands won't let me, but I make jewelry. Used to make jewelry, and I had an Instagram account just to sell my display and sell my jewelry on. So I might have to check on Letta the doll and see what's going on Instagram. All right, okay, I guess that was the last one. All right, so I hope you enjoyed or found this interesting and informative about these cursed dolls. Like I said, it's fascinating yet creepy to me, these dolls. So, get out of here. So anyway, like I said, I hope you found it interesting, informative. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Add your comments about what you thought, what you think about any of anything we looked at tonight here in this video. If you have friends or family or any groups you're in, anybody you think would enjoy it, please share it. If you're new here, please consider subscribing. Hit the notification bells so you will be notified of when I upload new videos. Probably on this channel, I'll only upload one video a week, usually on a Sunday afternoon or Sunday evening, because my true crime channel keeps me pretty busy. But like I said, I do like to talk about other things, and I'm interested in other things besides true crime. So that's why I decided to start the second channel. So anyway, until next time, thank you so much for watching. Take care of yourselves. be careful out there. Take care of each other. That's the most important thing that we need to do in this life, is take care of each other so we can all make it through this life safely. So hopefully I will see you again next Sunday with a new video. Who knows what we'll be talking about? Whatever catches my fancy. So once again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in about a week. Bye bye.